Tubers, tubettes, and my ever-widening circle of crazy people. The upcoming video that I'm doing is very long, just so you know that to begin with. And it's also a very sad tale. So, it's about a guy that I met 2 years ago and did an interview with 2 years ago. I'm going to put a link to our original video in the description box. If you manage to hang in there, I'm going to do a little video after the video also with some thoughts and ideas. Okay, so here comes my video with John. All right, everybody, so I'm here with John, and John is celebrating basically his 2-year anniversary here in the Philippines. And John was on the channel with me 2 years ago when he first arrived. And I have a question for you. How much did you weigh when you first arrived here in the Philippines?
175 pounds.
175. And how much do you weigh today?
127.
127, but you didn't go on a diet. Okay. Well, I know John's a little bit nervous, but we have a story to tell, and we're going to go ahead and tell it. And it's not necessarily the happy-go-lucky story that we usually do here on the Old Dog Channel. So, when you arrived in the Philippines, John, what was your plan? You had a certain amount of money. I guess I should set this up. John came here with a finite amount of money, which was 1.5 million pesos, correct?
Yes.
And that's the equivalent of $30,000 in today's money. And at the time that he got here, he was 58 years old, and you're now 60.
Yes.
Okay, good for you.
Well, 60 in 4 months.
60 in 4 months. Okay. And your plan, I'm kind of speaking for you a little bit, because I know you're nervous. Your plan at the time was to make that $30,000 or that $1.5 million pesos last for 4 years until you were able to collect on your Social Security, correct?
Yes.
And when you initially came here, you also had thought about maybe working on the internet.
Yes, that didn't work out.
And that didn't work out. So, when you arrived, if I recall correctly, you had your money, you had a laptop, phones, clothes, the whole enchilada.
Yes.
Just like anybody else getting off the plane, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you initially got here, you moved into a compound that I'm familiar with, and you were paying $12,000 a month rent, and you bought yourself a motorbike.
Yes.
And so basically he did what most guys do. He got himself settled into an apartment, and he bought himself some transportation. And previously, you had been married to a Filipina. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And that hadn't worked out, and it turned into quite the money pit, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
I'll put the link to his previous video in this channel description. So, what happened, say, the first month that you were here in Dumaguete? Did you start dating? Did you just get settled in? What were you up to?
Well, I mean, there was a girl that I started dating, and she turned out to be married with a husband who lives at home, and I was afraid that I was gonna get murdered or something like that.
Sure.
So that happened for 3 weeks, and that was that. So we kind of broke that off, and then there was a girl after that who turned out to be a money pit. And that list lasted maybe three weeks too.
Okay.
So I mean, that's that. So
that's so far so good, actually. I mean, you didn't do anything wrong.
No.
You know, you met somebody online, correct? No, girl number one, you met her online, I believe.
Yeah, actually, I met her in the U.S. Actually, so when I got here, she contacted me. You know.
Okay. And you didn't have any idea that she was married.
No idea.
Okay. I had the same thing, similar thing. Wasn't married, but it was a similar thing when I first got here. So, you're dating her for 3 weeks. You discover that she's married.
Yes.
She has a partner, and you cut it off.
Yes.
Okay, no harm, no foul. Nothing you did wrong there. You met girl number two, and when you say money pit, what do you mean by that? What's?
Well, I bought her a cell phone.
Okay.
Her birthday was due, and I bought her a pig and all the trimmings and video key and things like that. And I actually stayed over her house and everything, and in her mother's room, of course. And It's just me, not her. And that's the way that went. Bought some pictures for her, some picture frames, things like that. And well, the long and the short of it is, it ended up being about 25K. And I discovered right away that she was a money pit, and by the way that she responded to my text messages, I one word answers, and that was that.
Now, was she a local girl? Did you have to travel to see her?
Yeah, I had to go with my B9.
In the B9?
Yeah.
Okay. So how far away is that from here?
Oh, about 45 kilometers.
40. And how long would that take you to get there?
Maybe an hour and a half or so.
Hour and a half by motorbike.
Bike.
Okay. All right. So you met this girl online also, and she was just basically after your money. You guys were never a couple.
No, she
Okay.
liked Filipinos.
She liked Filipinos. All right. And it took you about 3 weeks to figure that out.
Yes.
All right. Again, no harm, no foul. You were trying. You figured out that it was, not working. She was kind of taking advantage of you.
Yes.
And you decided to end that. So, what was your next encounter after that? Were you still living in the same apartment? Were you?
Well, yes, I was still there. And then I met another girl
Okay.
online.
Okay.
And I started dating her. And she turned out to be a really, really nice girl, I thought. I still do.
Okay.
And she used to come over and stay a couple, 3-4 days, but no sex.
No physical interaction.
No,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all. I didn't know that she had already had a baby.
You didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Okay. So when you met her online, she portrayed herself as being single, and she portrayed herself as being childless. Is that correct?
Yes, I had no idea.
You had no
and
idea.
and a virgin on top of that.
Okay. All right. So that was what the conversation was. And how old is she, or was she, when you met her?
Well, she's 21 now, so back it up a couple years.
So she was 19 and you were 58?
Yeah.
Okay. And, all right, so then what happened?
Well, I don't want to say too much about her. I mean, she's still a great girl, and to me, and I'm still living there, and all that. And well, anyway, I ended up building the family a house, and
So did you move out of the apartment that you were in and move in with her?
yes,
And how long were you dating her before that happened?
maybe 5 months or so.
Okay. So,
Maybe 7 months. I'm not
okay.
sure.
We'll split the difference and say 6. So, during the 6 months that you were dating, what was dating and what did that entail? Did she come over to your place? Did you go pick her up? Was she still living with her parents? Was she living with you? What was the dynamic of the relationship?
Well, she's still living with her parents, and well, the long and she used to come over to my house,
Okay.
and then I took another different apartment so the rent would be in half,
Okay.
and we went there, and went straight along, kept doing what we were doing, and then she asked me to come and live at her house
Okay.
to say so I don't have to pay rent anymore.
Oh.
So I did, and it's been about a year now, and then I built the family a house and everything, and then the other thing that happened was I helped a member of her family buy a cattle truck, and well, that's the majority of where my money went.
All right. So, if we could back up a little bit, you came here with $1.5 million, and approximately how much do you think you spent on girlfriend number 1 the first 3
It
weeks?
was almost nothing.
Almost nothing.
Yes.
Okay, because you found out she was married.
Mm-hmm.
Now, number 2, you said was a money pit. What do you think you invested with the phone and all that?
I would say about 20K.
Okay, about $400.
Mm-hmm.
Again, nothing devastating. And then you met woman number 3, who you're still with,
Yes.
correct? And when you met her, you guys courted for 5, 6, 7 months, something to that effect.
Yes.
And did you get along with her family back then? Were you guys, was she spending the night with you at that point in time, or how was that working
Yeah,
out?
we had a part of the building the house was we had an upstairs, and her and I would sleep in the same bed and everything.
Okay, but you'd changed to a smaller apartment, and that was during the 6 or 7 months, correct?
Yeah.
You went from 12,000 to 7,000 because you wanted to budget your money. Okay, all right, fair enough. And then they invited you to come live with them, and that was basically, and from what I understand, kind of a squatter's village.
Yes.
Is that correct? A squatter's village is where people do just that. They squat on someone else's land, and they build pretty much ramshackle type of homes, correct? Tin roofs and
Yeah, exactly.
no water filtration or
No, nothing.
anything like that. No such thing as an air conditioner.
No,
I mean, it
no.
was, it's, it's, it's pretty far down the food chain.
It is.
As far as that goes. And there's no shame in the economics of that, but that's where you were living.
Yes.
So you left your apartment, and you still had your motorbike at the time,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And you moved into this area with her. Were you just madly in love with her, or what was the dynamic between the two of you?
Well, I thought she was the. I still do. I think she's the one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough. There's no arguing with feelings. So you felt that at the time she was the one, and this day you feel that she's the one.
I do.
All right. And you said you built them a house. How did that come about?
Well, the workers came, and they worked for probably what, a month, maybe, maybe longer, 6 weeks. Building, with the cement, making the cement nice like this, and then building the upstairs, and all that. And they had to do, of course, it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the workers and everything, and that's pretty much the way it went. There's no more water running in the house. I mean, there's no rain. I mean, it withstood Odette.
Okay.
We stayed in the house during that.
Was the assumption that it was going to be your house with her? Was that how it was presented?
Well, the upstairs.
The upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So the family suggested that it would, and again, I don't want to make the story here. I want to find out the story. But I'm trying to picture in my mind how the conversation went of the idea of building the house. That was the parents' idea, her idea,
With Diana's.
your idea?
Diana was like, well, I want to build the house and make sure that my mother is well off and everything.
Okay.
And I said, well, okay, let's build the house. Let's take care of that.
Okay. So you offered. So the girl mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
And you took her up on her offer and decided that would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And you were thinking that you guys would live as one happy family.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So how much did that cost?
I would say somewhere around, I don't know. I don't have receipts or anything like
Right,
that.
I understand.
But I guess it was somewhere around, I don't know, 400, 500,000, somewhere around there.
Okay, so that would be about 10,000 US dollars. Okay. And we started off with 30. Now, after you built the house, and then we take 10 away from the 30, how much more is left? That says 20, but you'd spent some money prior to that too.
Yeah, but not too much.
Not too much.
No, and plus I had the stimulus checks too.
And you got your stimulus checks.
Yeah,
that was
and
about $3,000.
Yeah, so I was still within my budget. Really.
Because in your mind, I think, because we were chatting a little bit before this, and again, John's very nervous, and that's very understandable. But I think it's an important story to tell, especially since he's been on the channel before. Your impression was once you invested in this house and built it, you're going to live there rent free.
Yeah, that
right?
was, and I'm still not paying any rent there.
Okay, fair enough. All right. How's your relationship with her now?
Difficult.
Difficult. And you two are now parents also.
Yes.
Okay, so you have, so a year and a half ago or so, she got pregnant. Is that correct?
Yeah, about I guess in April or May, something like that.
Okay. And
We were already living in her house.
you were already living in the house. The house was built.
Yeah.
All right, it's done. The family's living there. You're living there with her. And she gets pregnant. And when did she give birth?
January 13th.
So about 3.5 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And you had twins.
Twin girls.
Twin girls. Congratulations. How does it feel to be a dad?
Well, I'm happy, but nobody else is. You know what I mean? It's like a joyless pregnancy. You know what I
Really?
mean? Nobody's happy. You know, they're just happy. They're not happy at all. You know, they just think that, oh, it's another mouth to feed. How are we going to be able to feed the babies when they get older? And
Uh-huh.
and to me, I don't know. It's not like I thought it would be.
So when she got pregnant, nobody was happy except you?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. So Diana wasn't happy that she was pregnant. The mother, was the father involved there too?
No, he passed away a few years ago.
I said, okay. So who are you dealing with here? You've got. You're not married to her.
No.
And she's an
Not
unmarried
yet.
woman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And does she have any other kids?
She's got a 4-year-old.
So did you know about the 4-year-old when you met her?
No.
You didn't. When did you find out about the 4-year-old?
About three months after we met.
3 months after you met. And how did you find out about the 4-year-old? Did she say, by the way, I'm a mother?
Well, we went to the bukid there, and there was a kid running around. I said, who's that? And they all sat me down and said, well, that's my daughter. And I was like, what?
Now, when that happened, did a red flag not go off in your head that maybe something wasn't quite right?
No, Paul, because to me it was like, so she has a kid. I mean, that's okay.
Okay.
To me, it was fine.
And you didn't question the fact that that was withheld from you, that information?
No.
You didn't? Okay. All right. And so, has the child accepted you?
Initially, she used to call me Papa and stuff like that, but then, the mother actually takes care of the kid, and Diana doesn't really do much with the kid until now. She watches her a little bit more, but
Was the mother the primary caregiver? Her
yes.
mother? The grandma?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're living there with her, and she gets pregnant, and according to you, there was no joy in all this. You're the only one. Were you happy that you were going to be a dad?
Of course I was.
Okay.
Everybody in the neighborhood is like, oh, congratulations, you're a father, all that kind of stuff. And then I go home, and everybody's like, all sad and stuff.
Okay. And do you still have your motorbike?
Yeah.
Okay. And didn't you invest in a business or something with her?
I did. She has a relative there, older brother actually, that we bought a cattle truck with, and I invested about 370K in that truck. And there was, he promised us a certain amount of money, and we never did see that kind of money. So, my girl said, why don't we just sell the truck? And we did. We sold it back to him, and he's having some very, very, very difficult issues with his wife right now, which I don't expect him to help us at all because of the issues that he has.
And when you gave him that, what was it, 370,000 pesos?
Yeah.
Wasn't that pretty much the last of your money by that time?
Yes.
So
But I figured 20K is enough to last, right?
when he says 20K
Per month.
per month, the gist of this whole thing was that this truck was to be used to transport animals and there would be a fee that they would charge per animal, and
Yeah.
then that would be an income, and you were promised or told that you guys would receive 20,000 a month.
Hmm.
So you felt, number one, that when you built the house, you were investing in the house, and that would be a rent-free deal. So there's one less thing to worry about. And then when you took that money that you had, which was finite, you invested in this business of her relative, and that was going to generate you approximately $400 a month, 20,000 pesos to live on,
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
But that didn't come to fruition.
No.
And you mentioned that the mother of your daughters is subject to temperament issues.
Yeah.
Correct?
Tombo.
Tampo. Okay, that's Tampo is where they get mad and they clam up. And
Aren't all Filipinos like that?
they are. They are. Everybody. It's a matter of degrees, though.
Well, this
You
has
know?
gone on for almost her entire pregnancy, and then after the pregnancy,
Okay.
you know.
And you'd mentioned to me that during the time that when you met her, was she not also talking to someone else online?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned to me, and again, if any of this is making you uncomfortable, just tell me to shut up, and I will. And if you don't want to answer a question, please don't answer it. Don't feel like you have to. But is she not continually, during the time that you were courting and the time that you were together and building the house, was she not still online chatting with guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now, that didn't raise any kind of alert in your mind?
Well, it bothered me. I could tell you that right now, and it still does. You know why this continues to happen. But
Does she primarily chat with guys that are out of the country, like in America or Canada, or do you know?
yeah,
Okay. So there's a chance that she might actually be chatting with somebody that's watching this right now.
maybe I don't.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out there. Um, and at this point in time, how much money do you have?
Well, I have very little.
Okay.
I have the money that you gave me.
Okay. So you have a few bucks that I gave you the other day.
Yeah.
When I heard about your situation. And so what do you foresee? So you're 2 years into this, and you're 2 years away from collecting Social
A
Security.
year and 7 months.
A year and 7 months. I'd be counting too. If you could go back in time, John, and I know that, and this is no beratement or anything, but if you could go back in time and change things, what would you change? I mean, would you have waited to come out to the Philippines until you had an income stream? Would you have saved more money? Or would you have just come out just like you did and just slowed things down a little bit? Or none of the above?
I wouldn't have moved into that barangay.
Okay,
That's the number one thing.
okay,
And the second thing is because my girl, she changes when she goes from outside to inside that barangay, and
okay,
everything is my fault.
okay,
I mean everything.
okay.
Everything's, the foreigner did this, the foreigner did that. The foreigner threw the garbage. Did you throw the garbage in the yard? No, I didn't. And then they talk about that for a day or two, or whatever. I don't know. But no, and the second thing, there's certainly when to purchase the cattle truck.
Okay.
No way. I mean, I wouldn't have these issues right now if I had that money.
So if we could back up, and you went from a 12,000 peso apartment, and you realized early on that was probably overdoing it.
Yeah.
So I commend you on that. And then you moved into Navarro Apartments, which I'm
Yeah.
familiar with them.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
bad.
No, I had a
And-
beautiful apartment there.
You had a little aircon and everything, right? I mean, it was normal. It was small,
Shower.
nothing fancy, but you had hot water. You had aircon.
And I cooked all the time.
You could cook, and that was only $7,000 or $140 a month. And I think we ascertained that we were somewhere around $625 a month budget to make it to the Social Security year of 62. And so you were actually fairly well in. It was when you met this woman that's now the mother of your children that things really kind of took a dive. And Again, I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm just telling the truth and trying to transcend to these guys here. Coming out on a finite amount of money, do you recommend that? I mean, is that something that you would still do again? Or, because you'd mentioned that you were going to teach online, and that
That
didn't
never
work.
worked out. It didn't work out at all. First of all, I'm not a teacher.
Okay,
I recognize that right away.
okay. Do you feel that you did enough sufficient planning in your head prior to coming out here, or was it more of an emotional decision?
No, I planned this for almost 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, I
Okay.
sold my house, the cars, moved into a small apartment, with minimal expenses.
To save money.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I did.
Okay. So you did all that right. And then you came out with the amount of money that you felt would be sufficient for you
Yeah.
until the Social Security came along.
Hmm.
Um, do you feel that the motorbike was too big of an expense?
Well, I love my bike
Yeah.
very, very much, but I
Uh-huh.
mean, I sold that so I can support the family,
Okay. So,
the kids and the girl.
okay. And now you're using public transportation, buses and whatnot. And you're no longer in Dumaguete. I won't mention where you are, but you're about, 30 minutes away? Kind of like
About an hour.
about an hour away. Okay. And that's where she lives. And you were just head over heels in love with this girl.
She's just a terrific girl.
Terrific girl. And so, even though you've built them a home and invested in a business for them, they're really not treating you with any kind of love or affection. Is
No,
that
they
correct?
they did for a while there, but ever since I don't have any money anymore,
Mhm.
I don't matter.
Reminds me of a Vegas casino. They love you while you're gambling. But
Exactly,
The
and
minute they
then-
clean you out, it's like, okay, here you go.
Exactly, and that's exactly what has happened.
Okay.
And then I don't, I'm just saying, I don't eat very much at all. You could see why I'm so thin,
Yes.
and I just scraping up money for a bus is a big deal to me now.
Yeah.
That's only 59 pesos.
Right. So what's your outlook? Have you ever thought about maybe trying to go back to the United States? And
That's a very good point. They tried to have me deported.
the family did,
Yes,
after the money ran out.
yes,
Okay. And what was the purpose of that? Why did they want you deported?
because I didn't have any money. Destitute. Then he needs to be out of this country.
Okay. So now they resent you being around. Is that what I'm
Oh,
hearing?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Diana, the young lady? Do you feel that she has any affection towards you, or is she just kind of shining you on, or how's that going?
I keep hoping she's gonna go back to the girl that I fell in love with.
Okay.
Do
And
I
go ahead.
do I think that that's gonna happen? I don't know.
What about your children? Do you have much interaction with them?
Oh, of course. They're my little babies.
Okay.
And they respond very well. They have American in them. They behave like American kids. They're not like Filipino babies. They're very, very well behaved. I mean, I'm super proud of them. Really, really proud.
Do you have a plan for the next, what is it, 1 year and how many months?
7 months.
1 year, 7 months. So that's 19 months that you need to try to survive. But I've got to go back. Because I asked you, did you ever plan to go to America? And you said they tried to have you deported.
Exactly. I mean, there's no question about that. They met me down at the Bureau of Immigration, BI, and they talked to them. And they said, well, he's still under a visa. There's nothing we can do.
You didn't do anything to be deported for.
Yeah, no, I didn't do anything. And then we went to an internet cafe, and they talked to the family. The embassy did, and they said, well, you need to have 3 people with emails and phone numbers and all this stuff. And I don't have that. I don't have family in the U.S. anymore. I mean, they all passed away and went up to heaven there, and I don't have that. I don't have anything like that. So they said, well, we found somebody who can help him with his visa. And I said, okay, and that was only $12,500, and the fee for the visa was $10,200, and then I paid the electricity for the family, and then well, that left us with nothing anymore.
Okay. When I asked about going back to America, did it ever occur to you, maybe prior to running out of all your money, that you should maybe just go back to America and maybe regroup and maybe get a job and start that cycle again?
No.
Or no. You wanted to stay here. Now, do you have any prospects for making money while you're out here?
Well, I have an opportunity for a job. I don't know how that's going to work out. I actually had one job opportunity at Qualfam, but you need a working visa there,
Right.
and they need human resources still working on that, whatever that means. It's been almost 4 weeks, and I still haven't heard from them.
So they can get you the working visa
Yeah,
if they hire you, right?
Yeah,
that's a big company.
Yeah, I processed, I aced all the assessments and everything, so
Okay.
that's not a problem. And I still haven't heard from them. And then there's another place called Remote Task that Diana used to work for, and we're trying to get that working. Problem is I have a cell phone that's not a touch screen, and it's very hard to get a text message on that from the company.
Okay.
So we're working on that also. Hopefully, that'll come through.
So hopefully I'm not rubbing your nose in this, but I just want to kind of recap that when you first came out here, you had the lump sum of money, the laptop, the phones, the clothes, the whole
Yeah.
enchilada. The laptop's gone, the bike is gone, the money's gone, and the prospects for the future are kind of hanging.
Yeah, I wake up every day just praying for the. Sometimes I wish I could just turn it off and wake up in a year and 7 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
You know what, man? I wish I knew an answer for you, and I don't. But I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers, and maybe that's the only thing we could ask from people watching this is just to keep positive thoughts. So you wouldn't want to go back to America.
No, it's too. You told me on the way over here. It's
Well, no, I'm
five
just-
grand. There's no. I don't.
Well,
have
no. That was my trip, was $5,000, but that was a whole different dynamic. I'm talking about getting a one-way ticket to America, and let's just say that got produced. Let's just say you got home. You wouldn't have anybody to go home to.
No,
Is that
there's
correct?
nothing. I like I said, the embassy talked to my girl, and then they talked to me. They said we want to speak to the American, and I talked to them, and they said you need to have 3 people that you have emails and phone numbers for that you can contact. And I don't have that. I don't know. I gave them numbers that didn't work out. We're lucky we got one guy, and they said, well, you need 2 more. And I said, well, gosh, I gave you that one. They said, well, where do you want to go if you go? I go, I don't know, San Diego. How's that? That's a warm place, right? I can go there. And they said, well, you need somebody to pick you up at the airport. We need to know we're not just sending you there homeless. And I'm like, well, I am homeless.
Yeah.
So that's everything that happened. I mean, the embassy really can't help.
Interesting.
So I'm basically stuck here.
Okay.
I went and slept on the beach. I don't know how many times.
Did you develop, because when I met you 2 years ago, we had minimal contact before. I think you reached out to me because I think you'd seen my channel or something
Yeah.
like that. Okay, so anyway, you reached out to me, we met, we had coffee, everything was pink and rosy because you just came to town. I remember where we met. We met up at Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you came over to my house at Big
Yeah,
Rock,
another time,
and
sure.
we met Baby May, and we did the interview, and everything was cool then. And then I hadn't seen you since. But you also had a medical episode, I believe. Didn't
I
you?
did. I had a stroke, actually, in my, whatever that means. It means I had a bleeding in my brain or something like that. And I couldn't talk.
How long was
I couldn't
that for?
think. I couldn't
heard
remember.
about that, but I didn't know how to contact you.
Actually, Chona and Stan were wonderful helping me through that.
Uh-huh.
I was walking around. I couldn't remember anything. I didn't know my passwords. I couldn't turn my phone on. I had no idea how to do that.
So that happened kind of early on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was before you ever met girl number 3, correct?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right.
And
I just
then
want to get a timeline on this.
and then one day, Chona said to me after I'm just walking around like chicken with my head cut off. She said, "Did you need to go to the hospital?" I'm like, I think so. I think so. I think so. And that's where they took me to the hospital, helped me through that, and then went to a psychiatrist who gave me medicine and everything, and to help everything heal up.
But you seem pretty cognizant now. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But how long did that last for? Because I remember I was talking to Stan. He kind of relayed some of that information to me.
Probably a couple of months.
A couple of months.
But each day I got better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Each day, and it's funny because when I was trying to learn or do the teaching online, that's when I did the interview, and I passed the interview, and I'm trying to remember everything that I need to remember, and I couldn't remember until my memories finally started kicking in.
So you've had a couple of kicks to the ribs while you've been here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's called life, I suppose.
It is. And also I had a kidney stone too. And Diana was actually with me during that episode. And she was great, I said, I'm going to the hospital. And she said, well, you're going by yourself? I said, yeah, you just need to get on a bus and go home. She said, I got to go take care of this. I was in real pain. And I come home to get on my motor, and she met me. She said, I'm going with you. I was, oh, thank you so much.
So those were kind of the golden months,
Yeah.
right, in the beginning.
Yeah.
When you were courting, I guess, during the 6 or 7 months, were
Yeah.
things pretty good?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Between the two of you. Okay.
I mean, we had our occasions where we
Yeah.
had a few sites, but I mean,
Who doesn't?
that happens. And
It was actually when you moved in and started building the house for them,
that's when
and the parents got involved, and all this and that and the other,
the mother, yes,
and the mother, and
everything went straight to hell.
as long as you were opening up the wall that everything was working.
Exactly.
And as soon as the money dried up, your persona non grata.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's exactly what happened. And I say all the time, I'm only an ATM.
Yeah.
To just stay upstairs in my room and just put my card under the door.
So I have one more question, and then we'll call it a day. And I appreciate you spending the time with me today. Did you ever develop a circle of friends here when you first arrived?
Well, actually, I know a few Filipinos and a few Americans, but Americans, I don't know, they like to chismis and all that kind of stuff, So there's only a few people that I truly trust.
Okay.
And no, I did not, and I actually went off Facebook because
You did disappear.
yeah, well, that's exactly what happened. Is because if I added somebody as a friend on Facebook, I'd hear about that. If I see, oh, well, this is your girlfriend, this was your girlfriend, this was your wife, and I have to hear all that kind of stuff. And I was like, look, off. I'm just deactivating my account. I don't want to continue all of this.
Okay. So as of today, you're still living there at the house that you built.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And is that going to be ongoing for the next 17 months or whatever it is?
I don't know.
You really don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get through to my next visa.
To your next visa. To renew to stay in the country.
Yes.
Okay.
That's 6 months from now.
That's
And it's only 7,000 pesos, 7,200, and plus the bus fare, and that I'm trying to save the money for, because I don't want to be deported. I mean, once you're deported, you can't come back. That's it. You're finished. So that means I never get to see my kids again, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's kind of a problem for me.
That would be a problem.
Because Americans, at least this American, is very, very loyal and protective of our children.
Do you think your personality type has anything to do with, because you're a very easygoing, very generous guy. Do you think that that's been a drawback? Do you think you needed to have a little bit more of an inner animal to you? Do you have a hard time saying no?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
But you did.
I did in a big way. If
Yeah.
somebody asks me for something, I give it to them.
Yeah,
You know, I mean that
I remember.
that's what I do. It's my personality, and there's nothing wrong with being a generous person. But here in the
No?
Philippines, that could be a real big problem. And I feel by going into that barangay,
Hmm.
I stepped right into the lion's den.
Do you feel safe?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. You know, I'm all right with that. There's when I first moved into that barangay, it was all about cuarto, money, 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 money. That's all everybody ever wanted.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't believe that. I was like, well, I thought we were working together here.
Uh-huh.
You know, as a family unit. No, it was never like that. It was never like that. You're sure the family treated me, you know, pretty well here and there. Mother would buy food and things like that, you know. But after that, after I ran out of money, that's it.
Okay. Well, when I met you 2 years ago, I was a little concerned about your amount of money that you brought, and I had, best intentions for you. I was hoping that it would work out. Um, I'm sorry that it didn't, but there's always hope for the future. Do you have any kind of clue as to what you might do in order to provide for yourself between now and then, or are you just taking it day by day?
Pretty much day by day.
Day by day.
You know, I can. Diana said I could borrow rice from her sister, and then I have to owe her sister. So I eat rice. That's all. Just a little thing of rice.
And does she express any interest in you physically or anything like that? That you guys walk around holding hands like boyfriend and girlfriend, or
Not
she
anymore.
pretty much just at the ignore stage,
Yeah.
and she's chatting and doing all that?
Never
jazz?
let me touch her.
Never let. Okay.
I mean, even something is going like this
Uh-huh.
is don't touch me.
Okay.
Don't touch me.
All right. But you're still madly in love with her. Is that correct? Because you said earlier that she's the one for you.
I guess I'm just hoping she's gonna go back to the girl she was.
So you're hoping she goes back to what she was. All right.
Because I
Oh.
still believe in her.
Yeah. You do.
I do. I don't think she's all these this person that I see who who who, who abuses me and physically and mentally. You know, and the only reason why I go back there is because I had no place to go. You know, I went to immigration myself. I went to the embassy myself, and I couldn't get out of this country.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I did that. And her sisters never let her forget that. He needs to go to immigration. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. You know, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But no, I still have hope. But she sent me a text message today saying, "Look, I'm coming back with the kids. You know, everything's going to be fine. You know, let's just relax and let me figure out what I'm trying to do here." And I said, "Well, okay." But I still hope, and I don't think that there's any hope for being in that barangay, in that compound. There's too many people who run their mouth all day long, and like I said, the mother is the worst one. You know, as soon as she walks out this house, she's yapping over there, my Americano this, Americano that, and she lets everybody know. You know, he doesn't have any money, he's not supporting my daughter, blah, 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 and on and on and on and on and on it goes. It just never stops. It just never stops.
And does she, as Diana, the mother, does she have any working opportunities? Has she ever worked before? Or?
Oh, she's worked before. You know, she's worked down at Bo's actually. As a housemaid for the owner there, and you know, 5,000 a month and all your meals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing.
Okay.
That's nothing. And then she has to leave the house. I'll never see her again. I mean, she'll leave me home with the kids, with the babies. And I have to take care of the babies, and it's a hard job for one person to take care of two babies, including washing all the clothes and feeding them, their milk and all that. I'm changing their diapers. I mean, it's a really, really, really hard thing to do, and you need two people to do this.
So if you had any advice to give guys that might be watching this as to maybe where things took a wrong turn for you, what would you advise these guys?
Well, first of all, I don't regret building the house. but I do regret moving into the barangay. That was a huge mistake, a very, very big mistake to move into that kind of chismis environment. Chismis is
Gossip.
gossip, over and over and over and over. It just never, never, ever, ever stops, and it still goes on to this day. And I never would have bought the cattle truck. No way, because I wouldn't be in this position if I had the cattle truck, or if I didn't buy the cattle truck. Those are two things that I certainly would never do over. I mean, do over again.
So, what would you tell these guys? Just to trust but verify, or don't try to invest, or?
Well, first of all, you have to be careful what you're investing in. Now, we're investing in her relative, which I thought was a safe bet, and it turns out he's having huge problems with his wife, which I would never ask him for any money whatsoever because of what the issues he's having with his wife. His wife is much more important than any money he owes me, first of all. And the second thing is I would never go into a place that's foreign. In other words, be more around people that I know, instead of going into a barangay where I don't know anybody and nobody speaks the language. So I'm basically alone there.
Mm-hmm.
When my girl stops talking to me, who do I talk to?
Yeah, what you did actually kind of runs counter to what most guys do. So most guys that I know, myself included, if we meet somebody, we ask them to move in with us, kind of in our little circle of influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
We have a few friends and guys we can lean on and whatnot. But you chose to go the other way, and that was to go pure Filipino, which is commendable, actually. I mean, it's actually brave on its own level. But I guess it kind of sets you up for, they don't speak the language. You don't know what they're saying about you.
They can talk right in front of me, and I have no idea.
You have no clue.
But I have an idea. I have some idea. I mean, I understand what they're saying when they're going like this and like that, and
mm-hmm.
I pretty much get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to leave the comments unfiltered on this, and so we're going to wrap up the little interview here. This is John 2 years later after arriving. I will put a link to our original video that we did 2 years ago if you guys want to check that out. This video I knew was going to run a long time, and I'm glad it did. If you've chosen to stay in there this long, I'll do a little post video of my own thoughts on this, and if you want to watch that, great. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. John, thanks for coming along and being brave enough and courageous enough to share your story. I know that's not an easy thing to do, but it is the truth and it is reality. And maybe this video could be an eye-opener to some of the guys watching.
Yeah, well, being destitute is not my thing. It's kind of changed my personality a lot.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I'm not the easygoing, generous person I used to be. I mean, at least right now. Until I have a steady income again, then no, I'm not like that anymore.
Well, we're all going to hope. Hopefully all of us are going to hope and pray that things do pick up for you and that you eventually do find your way. So thanks again for coming on.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. So I just concluded the video with John. He's left. I know that there's plenty of comments that are going to be coming in on this video, and I say let them fly. The only thing that I would request on this is that when you're making your comments, that go ahead and say what you want to say. I'm a First Amendment guy. I believe that you should have the right to say what you want. But maybe think twice before you start jumping all over him, because he is a fellow human being. And that's his story, and he's sticking to it. And it could, there but for the grace of God go I, is what I say when I experience these types of encounters with people. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.